instinct survivalist here. Had a challenge for myself actually to take a rectangle tarp and turn it into a form in which a square tarp is usually used. So in this case, what I've done is I've actually made a Forrester's tent or some fashion therein. You can see how it's a little bit longer on one side, but what I did is I actually folded under one of the edges until it was fairly square. From that point, then I did it on the diagonal, so you can see the diagonal front all the way back to the back corner. Took this piece, folded it over, and so if I did that back straight, what you'll see is that grommet actually goes straight back to that corner, or at least most of the way. Put a stake on the ground, not in the ground. Just using some wood I had around the house. And then secure that line, not too far out, it's about 1.5 feet, well, right about 2 feet out. And then I folded up the edges after I tightened down the two corners. So that corner's got a stake in it. As you saw, this corner has a stake in it. And that's basically my fourth grommet back from the rectangle side. So corner, 1 is there, 2 is there, 4. This was an 8 by 10. So again, took about 2 feet off of it, make it a semi-square. The benefit now is when I go out into the wild, into the bush, I actually have a rectangle tarp I utilize quite often, and so now I'm not limiting myself to just rectangular types of setups from a Basha diagram. In this case, you can see the Forresters. I've actually folded the edges in. Gives me a little bit of comfort from staying off the ground. So there's one layer, if you will, from the ground, and then at any given point in time, I can pull that over. And what that does is it kind of tightens it up to keep the heat in, without having to worry about all the cold getting in and the heat getting out. Now, one of the benefits of a Forrester's tent, when made the proper way, is it does allow for minimal heat to be utilized. So if I had a fire, and you can see my fire pit is not too far away, you're looking at an additional 3 feet from the stake, so 5 feet away. Doesn't quite fit within the realm that I'd like to have, but that was a flatter piece of ground, and I'm not gonna, this isn't my overnight stay, if you will. I might come out here a couple of times. But what that does do is, Forrester's tent, you can basically utilize a candle. I would say beeswax is probably going to be better because it's going to get you a little more heat in that big of a space. But it gives me a lot of room, a lot of space. I may reconfigure it and drop that side in a little bit more so that it's a little tighter, but plenty of room for one, and actually technically probably plenty of room for two. Even after folding down the flap, if you will. And so we'll just lift that back up so you can see kind of inside what it looks like. You see the overlays, and all I did was just use an old tarp I had laying around. So it gives me something to play with, and I can leave it up here for a couple of days if I want to without messing up my my good tarp, or you know, something if I wanted to punch a hole in it, that's fine, not a big problem. You can see where some of the grommets have been pulled out. So again, just know when I have. All right, there's that. And then many of you have seen my fire pit. It's also my my table, if you will. You can see my string, my rope, my paracord, if you will, and then my directions for the Forresters, just in case I couldn't remember. And then some other pegs and cord as well. And I actually used that one because I wasn't sure how high I wanted this, and I may have wanted to drop it down a little bit lower. That's about a foot, probably about a foot lower or a foot shorter than the one that I'm actually using. So there's that fire pit and the backdrop or the reflector, because it's got a high wall, and I can use that and put a chair right here. All right, so that's it for now. Keep on watching. Please like, and subscribe to the channel. That helps me in the long run, lets me know that I'm doing the right things if you like it, and also pushes it out to other forms of social media. So I do appreciate all the likes, the follows, the comments, and even concerns, and hope to see you next time. So until then, use your instincts to survive. Thanks for watching.